Good morning. It's 10:03 at the Magna Water Building at 8885 West, 3500 South, General Office Building. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will you guys please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to welcome the public and guests. Does anybody have any conflict with anything we've got on our agenda today? So at our diocese today, we have Clint Dilly, Nathan Bracken, Dallas Henline, Jeff White, Mick Sudbury, Danny Stewart, Leal Fitzgerald, Andrew Sumption, Raymond Mondragon, and Trevor Andre. And just so everybody here, he is our new HR director here. So we're glad to have him. So since I see none, let's how about the approvals of the common consent items.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held October 20th, 2022.
Second that.
Been motion, second, all in favor?
Aye. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the expenses for October 17th to November 6th, 2022. General expenses being $500,022.15, and the Zion's Bank bond payment for $384,395.16.
I'll second that.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Clint, we're gonna turn this, the general manager report.
Okay, hey, Mr. Chairman, could I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Could we go to item H before we start into those reports so we can get Rory and on his way? Would
Yeah,
that be
we can
okay?
do that.
If we,
Absolutely.
Trevor, are you able to?
Yep, pull it up right now.
I know how much this guy likes to get going, get moving.
Got it up there. All right. Do we want to read
that
it
okay?
first, or how? I don't know.
Do you
Are
need to
we
read the
ready?
item, or? Can we switch to item H?
Which one? Item H, okay, water and sewer availability. Okay, and a discussion and possibly motion to approve the following development at 7811 West, 21st South.
All right, thank you.
Yep, go for
So this is the Kelsey Creek Minor Subdivision is the name. If you look up here, we've got our wastewater treatment plant, 2100 South, 8000 West. To the west of American Eagle is this kind of longer strip parcel. That is where the development is. If you look at the availability letter in the packet, it'll show that we do have water, sewer lines within 2100 South along that frontage. We have our new 30-inch sewer. We've got a new 12-inch water line that was put in. Those were done last year. And then secondary water is along American Eagle, but not in front of this parcel. So we would require that to be put in.
Okay.
What
along the
size is that?
frontage. What's that?
What size is the secondary water extension?
12 inch?
12.
So, given that, there's, looks to be 4 lots, so it's kind of a commercial subdivision type development. One of them, I presume, would be for your company, and the other 3 for other tenants.
For me?
Yeah. So, I think it's a great addition to that area. Recommend approval.
Okay, I have no,
I just got one question. You won't ever complain about the smell?
Yeah.
No complaints.
A lot of dust.
yeah, well, we really haven't we have more dust than we have smell down there from the cement plant.
From the Eagle, yeah.
Yeah, you'll probably get more issues with dust.
How'd you get that property from Kennecott? How did we? Yeah. That's a different story. Okay.
awesome.
It was a nationwide trucking company, so they were more comfortable with, I guess, that.
That's so funny, when we talked about it way back, I just thought maybe you got, set up. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Ready?
Yes.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the water and sewer to the Kesley Creek Minor subdivision located 7811 West, 2100 South.
I'll second that.
It's been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Okay.
Okay.
You bet. Good luck.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for getting me on. I'll see you ahead of time. Thanks. Yes.
Thank you.
Good luck. 10 acre.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Okay, we ready?
Yes.
Thanks, Nick. Wanted to just highlight a couple things in the general manager report that's in your packet. Andrew will talk now, you won't see much on staffing from me in the future.
Okay.
Because we'll have that,
Give it to Andrew.
transfer
Okay.
to Andrew in his report. Unless there's a specific item, that I've been asked to address. Operations, we did have the issue with Jordan Valley that you're aware of that had the cloudy water after they had a main break on their main line. It was not a water quality concern. We did extensive testing. However, we did discuss in the future, we will have a protocol, any main break, we're gonna isolate it immediately. We're gonna have Jordan Valley look into putting a flush station right by our main. And then we'll have verification that it's flushed, the air's all out, and the water quality.
Yeah, wasn't it the air that was causing,
Yeah.
Cloudy.
the cloudiness?
It was air. And, that's, anything like that, even if it's not a health issue, it undermines, trust in our public, it wasn't our issue.
Right, it was Jordan
But there are
Valley's, but-
certainly protocols we can put in place to help minimize that, and we will do that.
Okay, awesome.
From here on out.
We notified Jordan Valley and they're aware of it, so any incidents, they're in contact with me.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So will Jordan Valley put in the flush line?
I think we need to come to them and say, hey, we need that, we need something closer to the source. Or closer, right next to our
7200.
system.
Yeah, okay.
Whether that's an air vac or whether that's a hydrant, something that we can confirm and sample from. We met with EDR's equipment representative, myself, Matt, Raymond was out, dealing with his knee, myself, Matt, and Ed Tucker, and they're looking at our membranes and testing them, and they said they're still showing in pretty good shape. We haven't received the final report yet, but they do quite extensive testing of individual membranes to make sure the integrity's there. However, we have expressed concern that their confidence is not as far out now. So they want us thinking about a replacement plan. And rather than doing a single purchase all at once, we think it makes sense to start individuals and then they're all on different schedules and we don't have to look at big purchases.
Okay.
So
I like that.
they're putting together a program to do that and see what that would look like. The other thing we've asked is the newer style membranes that we're looking at, they have more efficiency. Okay, so they can put more water through with the same output that we've been having of water quality. Or we've also asked them to look at what if we had a water quality improvement. So right now, we're averaging about 650 TDS in our distribution system. When we get that water and when we mix with Jordan Valley water, our total dissolved solids is about 650. If we if we use that efficiency gain to drop the treatment down even further, we could potentially gain a water quality improvement that would bring us down below 500.
Oh, wow.
And at that point, we're really in the premium tier water quality. So there may be some benefit to be able to say, hey, we're under that 500 target. It's not required, but that's generally considered the upper tier in terms of pure quality.
Can we maintain that?
I think we can. They're thinking they can do that. We could even operate in a different mode if we needed capacity at some point. We could change our mode of operation and deliver a water that's more in line with historic, but our primary operation could be achieving a better quality. That's an option potentially for us to consider. So we're working on that to be able to give the board that information to see if that's a direction they want to go.
Is that improved unit just what they provide now, or is it an extra cost?
It's their standard now.
Yeah.
Standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of pretty much outdated right now, so now that
Yeah,
they
I
went
think
up
you
to
talked about that before.
Yeah.
750.
What kind of life, are we gonna get a better life on the newer units than?
About the
old?
same or what?
About the same, I think we got, what is it?
We've gotten more than they expected.
Expected,
Yeah. So we're at almost,
Have we budgeted?
that's what we've
Okay.
started budgeting for that.
Okay, awesome.
That's
Okay.
why we're going with one stage at a time.
Okay.
That way we're not getting hit with all 4 stages.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Wanted to highlight on the wastewater side, I'm impressed, continue to be impressed with the treatment and their emphasis on emergency response and standby resiliency type moves and programs down there. One that I wanted to highlight, and hopefully Dallas could expand on, is this idea of an emergency bypass plan with an outside contractor. If we were ever in the need for tankage and pumps that were substantial enough to handle the whole plant. Dallas is looking into that. Could you maybe give them a?
Sure. We had a local representative come out to the plant and we pulled up some maps, Trevor and I and our wastewater team, and we talked about different scenarios of you know, if we had to bypass an 8-inch line, a 12-inch line, a 36-inch line, and what type of equipment we would need to be able to run that bypass, what its availability is, what the cost is, and how we can have a plan in place. So if we do run into that event, it's one phone call. So we have this relationship that we've created, you know, they stock all the pumps that we would need. We walked through the treatment plant and talked about different bypass scenarios for emergency operations or for future construction considerations. They were very helpful in that a lot of the equipment we would need, they have on site at their warehouse just off of California Avenue. The one thing that we appreciated was they had generally a 60 to 90-minute response time to get emergency bypass equipment on site. So we've just created a catalog with different scenarios based on pipe sizes or places in the treatment plant that would need to be bypassed, and now we have that all set up with just a phone call.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that on the news not too long ago, Idaho, there was a plant in Idaho that had a major failure, and they were on pumps and tanks for it was weeks, I know.
Oh, wow.
Before they could get their plant health back up and online and dealing with the issue. So
That response time is good.
to be able to
really good.
handle, you know, we could be in a real bad position when you're talking about the number of dollars per day that we could
Stuart
be.
knows.
Oh, yeah.
But, so this company too, have you had other cities in the state or in the valley or somewhere that's had that same problem? So if they're called in an emergency, that they have responded immediately, then holidays or weekends or something, because it does happen. I worked at a sewer treatment plant in Salt Lake City for 27 years.
Sure.
In the water department, so
Yeah.
I kinda
Right.
just want to make sure what the other places have dealt with them, and it's
Have confirmed that they've been able to deliver.
successful with them also.
Yep.
That's a good point.
This introduction was based on a referral from another entity. And then we also met them down at WEFTEC, one of their major United States reps. But we feel pretty good about it.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's great, Dallas. I wanted to highlight that. On the office, we told the board we would further refine our production schedule for the board meeting agendas and packets, and confirmation that we have procedures in place to make sure that any noticing deadlines. We put that together for the board to review. As you can see, it does require quite a bit of lead time. We have to be 10 days ahead roughly to make sure we can follow this schedule of the actual board meeting date. But I think it's a good way to keep multiple opportunities to make changes, adjustments, and confirmation that we haven't missed anything along the way. And I think this could satisfy our
Okay.
concerns there. So you can read through that. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know.
Okay.
And then I just probably wanted to jump to the last section I'll highlight. We had a successful UASD conference as the board was there to attend and got their training. We also had some employees on the management team get some training and understanding and perspective on what the boards are being communicated, so we can better meet the needs and what the board is looking for. We also had the other thing I wanted to highlight on here was the volunteer opportunity. As our HR manager's been meeting with employees, they've expressed some interest in volunteer opportunities. He was able to reach out and get one for the Main Street Bash, Halloween Bash, and that was extremely well-attended event. Andrew was able to get a sign put together that we can reuse.
Right.
Which I thought was great, and we had good participation there. And so we thought that was a positive event. But I know the board had maybe some,
I have a question on that. Okay, I thought that was an awesome deal. In fact, I thought it was a real great deal. But the question we have is we're people want to do volunteer, and I want to talk to legal counsel about this. But when the 4th of July comes around, we put people in the parade and we pay them to be in the parade. And so I struggle a little bit, because if we're gonna pay for the people to be in the 4th of July, I think we definitely need, and I definitely want us to be part of this community and be a good neighbor and be involved. And I don't know how the other two board members feel about this, but if we're gonna pay for people to drive our trucks and then in the 4th of July, I feel like we need to pay these people that did the Halloween, because it isn't fair to pay one,
I think that's one of the things I think we wanted to talk to the board about, maybe a different thought process that could address that concern, but still respond to the want and desire of the employees that want to make it a true
well, no, and I
volunteer.
totally understand that part. I think it's awesome, but we can't say we're gonna pay for this and then not pay for that. Either we pay across the board,
Well, I think-
or we just don't do it, but we can't get people to do the 4th of July unless we pay them.
Well, so here's one thought we had that could address that. If in the past, we haven't provided a whole lot of opportunities. And so the 4th of July just happens to be a tough one, because most of the people are with their family on
Right,
that.
I understand that.
So the idea is, I think with Andrew, if we give more opportunities throughout the year that more fit with differing schedules, then more people are gonna be able to participate in a volunteer opportunity and be encouraged to, because it might just align better with their schedule. And so what we talked about is maybe we set up a really defined, clear policy that says, hey, in response to your request for volunteer opportunities, we're going to seek those out and find those and make those available. If it's during a work time, when you're already at work and we've allotted time, we'll allow you to participate in that event with manager approval. If it's outside of work hours, it is a pure volunteer opportunity, unless we reach a point where we can't get volunteers unpaid volunteers, and then we would open it up to paid volunteers if we really feel like that event is important that we participate in. Now, if it's just a Halloween bash, not to say just, but maybe that event is not as important for us to participate in as the 4th of July parade.
Well, I think everything's very important for us to participate because we are part of Magna, and whatever we've got out here, we need to be involved in.
But the thing that makes the 4th of July, we're running equipment.
Right.
The liability there, we already decided that we had to pay our employee because that is a liability. He has to be employed.
Right.
And so,
Yeah, that's a different,
Yeah.
could be a different
yeah,
category.
yeah.
So anywhere where liability issues or equipment operation, we could make that.
But
a
you could get
caveat.
really deep into that too, because you could get really deep, like, yeah, you have to be qualified to run this. Okay, well, and wonder if the ladies wanted to be in the 4th of July and drive the truck, then they need to be qualified. I mean, you know, we're making it, we're broadening this thing up. I look at it this way, if we're going to participate, let's just pay them. That way we reserve everything's, there's no problems. It's not saying, well, you did it for this, but you didn't do it for that. And I'm just voicing me as the third of the board, and the other 2 board members can see what they want to do.
I totally think that there could be upsides. That actually could create more potential for people to feel like there's favoritism if they're being paid. That's, go ahead.
Okay, Nathan?
So what I would suggest is that you have a volunteer policy, and Mick, to your point, I think what you could do, I mean, you have a lot of flexibility here, is you just specify, these are the events that the district's going to participate in every year. And these are the ones that we are going to pay for. So 4th of July.
Right.
My concern with just saying we're gonna pay for all volunteers is that you could just have people that might game the system and come in and say, hey, I'm volunteering for this event that doesn't really have a connection to the community or something else. And so the way I see it with a lot of these is you specify, these are our core volunteer events that we support as a district, that we think have a clear connection to either the district or the community, that we will encourage our employees to participate in, and then you have some way of determining who gets to participate. So for instance, if you've got people that have to drive a truck, you know, you have to be qualified and we'll pay for it. And then if you want, you could have a separate one that's like, hey, if you want to volunteer for something in addition to this, you know, we can consider it and may pay you based on having some connection with factors and a basis for the, because you don't want to just open the door to, because then people just might volunteer for anything and then present you with an invoice.
Andrew,
And I'm sure Andrew has more thoughts.
Do you
than
have
me.
some thoughts on what's the downsides to paid volunteerism versus volunteerism?
So, as far as volunteer goes, volunteer suggests that it's unpaid, correct?
Right.
Because they're volunteering their time and connecting themselves to the community. And the suggestion that I was receiving from the employees was they wanted to give back.
Right.
And the best way to give back is for them to give them themselves, which would suggest that it would be unpaid. I'm open to suggestions on how that works, but I would prefer to see it be that we offer them opportunities to truly give back by unpaid service.
Yeah, and that is true. I think if we all looked at times we have volunteered in our own life, if we're paid for it, it is hard to view it, just reconcile in your own mind that it's volunteer, right? I mean, there may not be as much of a, I'm doing a good deed just to do a good deed.
So,
And be part of the community on my own.
And so for me on my end as well, as you know, when I came, one of my big pushes was health and wellness. And I feel service is a large portion of people's health and wellness. It gives them an opportunity to grow, and as you forget about yourself, it ultimately helps your mental health.
So maybe we could create paid volunteer and unpaid.
Well,
You know, there's just two types, and we can address, I don't know if that would satisfy the board's concerns, but
maybe the way to classify this is, because I agree with what Andrew's saying about what volunteer is, but it sounds like, I'm not totally familiar with the July 4th thing, but there's community engagement that the district is doing. and it sounds like with July 4th, you don't have a lot of people there. That's something that you, the district, want to do because it's good for the district, it's good, but that's not necessarily volunteer. That's part of your PR outreach as a district.
I agree with that.
And so maybe the way to distinguish it is, this is community engagement.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, we need someone to drive a truck. They need to be qualified for it. They otherwise wouldn't
I
do
like
it
it.
if we didn't pay them to do it. And then volunteer, which is, I want to give back to the community. I'm not necessarily looking to be compensated, but we just want to do it in a way that if they volunteer, you know, it doesn't come back and hurt us. And some of the things that they're volunteering for, they may not need to do under the rubric of the district.
Yeah, that's true.
Because and I have to be the pessimistic, pray to horribles person as the attorney, but you know, I've had some clients that have gotten sued over things that volunteers did.
Right.
And I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think it should hinder us in any way. We just need to be.
We're clear, and we are clear that, you know, these are, this volunteer effort. That's the other thing is, I think, being able to say that to the community that we're not necessarily paying these volunteers to do things that aren't directly related. This is a volunteer effort from the employees, driven by the employees. So the community then views the employees in an even more positive light if they know that they're not being paid on those types of events.
So I have a suggestion. Let's turn around and do the 4th of July as a volunteer deal. And see who we get to volunteer.
Yeah, and that we might not, that could be challenging. But then we're
person that are on standby that weekend, you have all the employees.
Right.
doing main breaks,
Right.
truck driving, and
Right,
everything.
right.
And if you have no volunteers, then somebody's on standby, that's, they can have to do that.
Yeah, the challenge is to get out of the parade zone. Potentially on a standby call, that can be a challenge, but
That's
it
where you
is a
either
good
go
point.
first or last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds like is it okay to the board if we come up with like a
I
couple
like
example
I definitely like,
policies?
I definitely like the volunteer, I mean, I definitely like the deal giving back to this community because we are part of this community and we definitely need to be involved.
And we've heard that from the board.
And that's one of my biggest pet peeves is, you know, we need to give back. I mean, we live here, or work here, we need to give back. But like I said, when you start saying this is gonna be a paid one, this is gonna be, I don't know.
Let's look at it a little more.
Okay.
Talk about it.
We'll give some, based on this discussion, Andrew will come up with some ideas.
But like you say, you have a guy down at the EDR plant that's on call out for the 4th of July. You have a guy at the sewer plant that's on call out for the 4th of July. And you also have a water guy on call out for the 4th of July. So there's our coverage right there.
Yeah, yeah,
And it ain't gonna
we'll
cost
have
us
a
no money.
You know, I enjoy that event. I always like to plan on that, so, I'm sure we'll have opportunities. Andrew's expressed he likes service. Other, members have volunteered at different things, so I think, the management team, we usually can get one of the management team to cover it too as well, so we have good coverage.
Caleb?
I'll bring some plans forward later on. for the
Okay.
board to look at to see what we can.
Now, there's a Christmas deal going on. Are you aware of that Christmas?
No, what is it?
It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Usually Friday after Thanksgiving, but it's gonna be this Saturday where they're gonna light the lights downtown. And I think, now I'm not positive, they're gonna try to get the high school choir to do that. And I don't know if there's something that we can be part in. I mean,
Okay.
they're supposed to have a Santa
So
stroll.
at this stage, if we do participate in that, you would prefer it to be paid, I'd assume?
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know if there's something that we could participate in there. I don't know if there's something that we could be doing with it. I don't know, like I said,
Maybe that one could be done during, that one might be during work hours.
Usually that one's right, isn't it? Usually just at 5 o'clock, just right when it gets dark. High school.
But it'll be on a Saturday.
yeah, it'll be on a
It's on
Saturday this year.
That's right, so.
They have it at noon.
Maybe we need to just hold off until we get a good plan in place.
Maybe Santa Claus.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably noon.
It's night when they do it.
Oh, it would be nice, because the lights are coming on.
so we don't wanna, we could hold off until we get a good.
And you know,
plan.
and a lot of that time, since we belong to the Chamber of Commerce, you can actually ask them
Yeah.
what, you know, what, you know, if there's something that they're gonna be doing that they need, you know, people to participate or,
Well, let's have him put a plan together and then we'll,
that's fine.
because if they have a little warning that we can help with something, then we might get a better opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Give it a little time.
Okay, that's my report, Mr.
Okay, thank you.
Jake.
Okay, moving on. Let's, how about your report, Trevor?
Yep, engineering report. So, projects we have going on, we've got the secondary pump station, moving along well. You know, pretty much done vertically, working on interior. We are looking at our schedule really hard right now, making sure we're ready to do the drinking water pump station, because that's gonna require a shutdown of that pump station and basically feeding zone 3 off of tanks only. You know, so we're working on scheduling that, make sure we have adequate time to get in and get that back up. And then that project also has the water line replacement, so that's happening on Catherine in between Florence and Edith. There's a lot of large boulders within Catherine, so going slow, make sure they don't pull one of those and damage anything. But moving well. And then the sampling stations as part of that are going well, going quick. So we'll have 20 new water sampling stations as part of that. We just posted a pre-qualification packet for our reuse project. So we had a meeting, 90% design, looking phenomenal, projects looking really great. So we put out that pre-qualification packet, which will close on the 5th of December. At that point, we'll kind of know what contractors are interested and which ones we pre-qualify for them. So that's exciting. And then something else that, you know, we've had on our radar a lot, future project, secondary water metering. There are grants through the Utah Division of Water Resources. Now this is specifically a grant for the meter. So that would be for any of the, you know, secondary projects we've done in the last few years where we've put in setters and they haven't connected yet. This is an opportunity for us to purchase a bunch of meters, get some grant funding, and then go put them in. And then the discussion becomes, do we want to encourage them to use it? Do we want to, what strategies do we want to put in place to have them start using the secondary water?
So most of the people were blocked because of the expense. Does this lower that expense?
Essentially, yeah, because right now the way it would be, if you want secondary water, you buy this meter,
Right.
right? And that's a $300 expense.
There's a 5.
You know,
507.
507, okay. So that would, if that's the direction we would want to go, we would just, you know, through this grant and our match or whatever.
One thing we could frame it as a limited opportunity.
Sure.
Yes.
We have some money that's available. We are encouraging you because if you've wanted it but have been concerned about the costs, we actually have some subsidization that we could pass along.
Yeah.
And, you know, we could frame it as a
I think
get in while it's hot type.
Yeah, that's probably pretty standard for when
Because
these
see, I tried,
types of
when we
things
tried
go
to
on.
talk about it a while back ago, but I said, you know, we're trying to offer something, it's like, okay, what about these people that's paid the $500, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
but this gets us over
opportunities
that.
come and go, and some
Yeah,
people
I
get
guess.
the deal and some don't, just happens in life.
The problem we have,
But it would give us an opportunity to grow that system, you know, and some.
well, if we
people
put a
can-
time
This is
limit on
the,
it,
yeah.
we put a time limit on it, people wait like a year later, say, well, what about that? We're going, hey, that was the time limit, so.
Yeah, okay.
So, you know, the grant opens up November 28th. We could, you know, we can put in the application, see what happens. We don't have to move forward, you know, but we can
Well, no, I
pursue
mean,
it
yeah,
and
let's-
see where
Would we
we
try
get.
for the 387 that we don't have connected?
Yeah, I think, and we may even have, you know, beyond that, we
Oh.
would see kind of where that cost comes in, what the match is, those details, and kind of
A good plan.
refine that.
I'll compliment Trevor. That's kind of a creative way to use this. It's mostly geared at systems that have full secondary with no meters at
Yeah.
all. But
They're already supplying water.
they're already supplying, like a Riverton or.
Yeah.
This was a thought that maybe we could get some money.
Right.
Well, Woods Cross didn't have any meters and they're really choking on the expense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Raymond, how about your water report?
Okay, October 2022 culinary water production for October was 134.3 million gallons, or 412.42 acre feet, 9.41 increase from 2021. Year-to-date production was 1,521.2 million gallons, or 4,668.75 acre feet, a 2.66 decrease from 2021. Secondary water production for 2022 was 249 million gallons, or 765.51 acre feet, a 6.33% decrease from 2021. We have purchased 665.14 acre feet from Jordan Valley as of October 2022. Call-out report, water and wastewater combined. Total number of call-outs was 22. Total hours paid was 69. 3 service leaks, 19 miscellaneous leaks. And that's call-out water report for October.
Would miscellaneous be necessarily a false call out?
No, it'd be from everything from, if you look on your packet, you'll have a breakdown in the back of it, which tells you, customer showed from broken line, leak in the setter, low pressure, EDR call-outs, cloudy water from Jordan Valley, water coming up in the road, just miscellaneous, just from,
Oh, I see it here. Okay. All right.
You okay?
Yeah.
You okay with that? Okay, Dallas, let's hear your wastewater.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to give the board the heads up that the collections crew will be partnering with Twin D Construction. They'll be doing 12 to 15 trenchless spot repairs throughout the district. We're gonna hopefully start those in the next week or two, and that should go through the end of the year. Treatment, I wanted to do a conference recap. The WEAU had their mid-year conference this week, and we had several operators attend that. Some of the highlights were a Safety 101 class put on by the Utah Local Government Trust. Blue Stakes of Utah put on a What You Should Know But Don't. And then the WEAU also put on Becoming an Effective Leader. The operators all attended those classes. Bo Lamper attended the US EPA Pretreatment 101 training in Salt Lake City this week. Had some time with our permit writer and also our pretreatment coordinator from the state. So it was good to work with them. And then the RV dump closed on November 15th and scheduled to open back up on March 20th. Usually when we're getting ready to open that, we post that so that people have an idea that it's gonna be opening back up. And then lastly, Chet Draper just passed his water treatment grade 1 exam this week.
Great.
That's good.
That's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Leo.
All right, so the first is our compliance report. If I can find it, my apologies. So again, I've highlighted just the ones that have recently come due or coming due. We're going to file the budget with the state as soon as it's approved. The quarterly budget, the actuals, that was reported on November 1st. excuse me, it's being reported today, and then the quarterly transparency website was reported November 1st. Money management, the next report that's due will be January 31st. And then on page 2, we just had the annual trustee training. We're still working on the conflict of interest with our AR&R update. We'll do employee performance evaluations, not really evaluations, it's the goals, and that's done the first part of December. The annual filing and fraud risk assessment, that's due annually, and we'll discuss that in next month's board meeting. And the review insurance bonding requirements, we do that annually, and we just met with our insurance broker, and he's gonna address the board next month. So as far as I am aware, we're in compliance and not past due on that.
Awesome.
The financial report is for the quarter ending September 30th of 2022. With our impact fees and our contributed capital, we're showing an overall income of 5 million versus 2.6 last year at this point in time.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of that is from Little Valley Gateway.
Oh, is that?
Yep. The second page, the revenue budget versus actual. Our water sales are a little bit higher than last year. Now this includes culinary and secondary, yet we're under budget. So that just says we've either over budgeted, and it also says with Raymond's report, he reported the culinary was under by 2%, yet we are over. I think that has to do with the rate increases and our increased in connections. So, but it looks like overall end of year will probably be under budget for our sales. The other categories on the revenue were over budget. And then going to our expenses, every single category there, we are under budget, which is great.
Yes.
Good thing. I don't know if you have any questions on those two.
I
but the next sheet is just a representation of how much we've spent into our debt. And not only our GO and revenue bonds, but revenue debt, or payroll debt, and, sorry, I'm on the wrong sheet. The fourth sheet is project payments, excuse me. 2.7 million, that's how much we've put towards our capital facilities projects this year so far. And you can see the different projects down below.
Right.
Where we spent. Cash in the bank, we have a total restriction balance of 10,325,000, and unrestricted, we have 23,640,000 right now. The next one is, sorry, this is where I was. The next one is a representation of how much we've put into our debt, our payable accounts. We've paid in 3,082,000 in our debt. Kind of a year-to-date report as of September, and the rest of it is the actual detail line by line of all the recap that we just went through.
Okay.
That's my report, unless you have any questions.
I don't have any. Do you have any, Jeff?
Nope.
Danny? Okay, thank you. Okay, Andrew, I'm gonna turn this HR manager report over to you.
Okay, so the first thing is to talk about the COLA. You can see on that first page that I benchmarked our water operation starting wages compared to some of the other entities. Where we stand, you can see we're probably on the low end of average, according to that. The next page is talking about what other entities are doing as far as their cost of living. You can see the Social Security COLA is gonna be 8.7. The Consumer Price Index rose 8.2% over the last year, which is a 40-year high, so that's talking about your buying power. Grocery prices are up 13.5%. Energy costs are up 28.5%, which is indicative of the price of gas that we've all been hit with. So originally, what was budgeted and talked about was, doing the 2.5%. Says merit there, which is a misinterpretation of what it is. It's actually a negotiated 2.5%. And then we're suggesting to do the 8.7% COLA, matching some of the other districts to stay up to competitive rates, and as well as giving us some makeup for last year's inflationary rates that we didn't quite hit, and give us some power coming into this coming spring
With hiring,
with hiring and things like
So a question for you, when you did this, when you went ahead and did this, this wage deal, did you base, I noticed I just got seeing Jordan Valley and Sandy and them on here.
Yeah.
What about the size of our district? Like, did you, we probably compare to Kearns, don't we?
I couldn't find any information on Kearns.
Oh, really?
I could call
Okay.
Granger Hunter's one on the end that, you've got there.
them. Yeah.
And they're twice the size we are.
I know that they've been working towards a substantial, I think, adjustment on their
Yeah,
wages.
they're doing 15.2% this coming year overall. 8.2 and it's on their COLA and a 7% merit.
They're playing catch up.
They're playing catch up. They're trying to get up to where they should be. Any more questions on COLA adjustments?
The good news I would tell the board is we've done quite a bit of extensive planning. So I know other districts are looking at substantial, rate increases. We're still in a good position to maintain our gradual rate increase, each year as identified by our master planning and rate study with Bowman and Collins. You know, we were at 4%, and we'll be at close to that again this year. I think Granger Hunter was proposing 2 or 3 times that increase in rates. So I think, you know, we're well positioned to be able to do this if the board feels like it's the right direction to go. Happy to answer any questions or concerns, or take direction on, if, you know, where we need to go here.
I don't think the other districts have, like we have built in an automatic rate increase.
Right.
So I don't know how long it's been since they had it. I think it's been 2 years.
It could be, it
Yeah.
could be.
Possibly.
That happens sometimes.
And we seen this coming last year or the year before, so we've
Been
already planned for it.
Yeah, the board was, I think, made a good decision, to take as much as we could make work with last year's budget and make some adjustments so that this wouldn't be as large, as.
See the 15% is Granger Hunter.
Right. But certainly it's still substantial. And so the board has, if you have any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to answer those.
We're not looking for a decision today, correct?
Well, this is a budgetary item, so, I think that,
Okay, the 8.7 is in the budget,
yeah,
just.
so when
Yes.
we wanted to make sure the board was aware of that.
Any other questions?
No.
So the next thing is we've talked about and are looking to move forward on Arbinger training for all of our employees. It's a leadership and mindset training to build culture. So the idea would be that I would go be trained to train our employees and management team with the mindset training. And what the idea is that it will align our teams with our goals, allows people to look outside themselves and focus on the other people that they're working with to build the team. Do you have any questions on that training?
It's been used effectively in police departments to change the culture. I went to a presentation with the West Jordan Chief of Police, and, you know, the mindset can be difficult in viewing criminals as, you know, people. When you view them as criminals, that automatically raises your aggression and has a higher potential for incidents. They've had great success in reducing unnecessary conflict and unnecessary uses of force while balancing proper uses of force. He also gave an example of how they use this training and mindset to get two officers working as a team. So one officer's really paying close attention to the other officer who's interacting with the suspect and looking for cues to be able to tap out that officer. We think we could bring a lot of that team, and that outward mindset could raise a significant amount of health and wellness and productivity. The big key is when you're not consumed and looking inward at all your own problems, right? And you're now looking outward and viewing people as ways to achieve your goals and help and a team, you move and you work together a lot better.
So the question I have, where's our training at in place for like equipment? I mean, I'm more concerned about that than I am this stuff. I mean,
You've been doing that as
I
well.
mean,
That's
I
not
mean,
neither or.
that's what the board's really focusing on. We've been at you guys now for a year about the training and about everything, how we want our people to be able to go out and run a backhoe or a dump truck.
Right.
That's what I'm interested in, to be honest with you. I'm not interested in nothing else but that.
You wanna, go ahead. We've had a lot of success with that.
Mr. Chairman, I think you'll find as we get to the end of the year and we submit our goals, you'll see that a lot of the training as far as operations and safety and backhoe and dump truck training, I think you'll see that starts to come in with the goals in a deliverable package, so you can see what operators have done what and which trainings that they have been a part of.
So we've all signed, are we all qualified now on backhoes? And,
We've got all.
They've all been trained on the backhoe.
Okay.
I mean, everyone goes out and trains on it. They rotate on the backhoes.
but I mean, are they comfortable enough to be out on the main road and running a backhoe? And because when I only see one person always running it.
And usually they'll get, who's ever taken the machine, they'll rotate. Because usually right now, what they'll do is they'll take out the backhoe, rip up the asphalt. At that point, the hydro excavator comes out. Very seldom that we are actually digging a hole anymore. It's usually with the hydro excavator.
Hydrator, yeah.
But what we have seen, Mr. Chairman, is both Raymond and myself have created a rotation to where we're not
Awesome.
having just the one operator learning that. So, you know, in an emergency type situation, you may see the senior operator doing the backhoe, but we've both been intentional that we create a rotation so that the other guys are gaining.
Right, and I really like that. That's a lot. That's what I'm really focused on, is if we get into a critical point, we have a guy that's qualified to run the backhoe, you know, I mean, you know, where if, you know, I just don't want to put our backs against the wall and.
And each one of you guys have been trained on, been trained, Mr. Chairman, on hydro excavator. Each one
Okay.
can actually run the hydro excavator. Right now, we're pushing right now to get our newer guys with their CDLs
okay.
right now, so.
Yeah, we recognize that has been we've heard that from the board. You're absolutely correct. We have also heard from the board that they had interest in getting our managers
Right.
Training and not just conference training.
No, I agree.
And so this is an example of something that's more geared towards helping our managers and our lead men develop. That's the real focus for this Arbinger.
I'm all about doing this if it's gonna help us.
Okay.
I'm totally 100% behind this.
Part of the idea behind it is that just because you're not a lead man, or just because you're not a manager, using leadership skills still benefits the company.
No, I totally agree, I totally agree with that, but I just said, I just don't wanna keep throwing money out at stuff that, you know, I mean, if it
Doesn't
is,
apply.
if it isn't gonna apply, you know, that's, you know, again, we as the board answer to this town
sure.
on whatever we spend.
I guess what we would argue is that the benefit is that we're more efficient and we're more productive and we have better interactions.
So I have
Personal experience.
personal experience with it from my previous employment. Our whole company was trained in it. And we did see improvement because of better interactions, better teamwork creates better performance.
No, and I totally agree with that, and I just wanna make sure you guys
That was
also get the training too, what you guys need.
That was a similar, I think the concern I'm hearing from the board maybe is how do we apply something that you're giving me an example for a police force?
Yeah.
That was just one of
Well,
the
no, I
direct-
understand how that all
but
works.
This is an example in
another
an
utility.
it's a utility company, it's in operations. It's a lot of similar type of conditions, working conditions, and the workforce, the dynamics in the workforce are similar. So we think that Andrew having direct experience gives us a better understanding. This concept I've been working with for quite a while too. I went to a course in leadership, it's leadership and self-deception. That was their initial entry into it. And so I've been through some of the aspects of the program, so I can vouch for it. It's absolutely transformed the way I view interaction with management and teams. It really gets you turning outward and understanding the big picture, and you're not as focused on how are these people making my life miserable and how are they obstacles. You're viewing them as opportunities, partners, able to work through issues much more quickly and resolve issues quickly.
And you know, and I totally understand that, I mean, and, you know, like I said, I worked for a company years ago, as Stuart did, as, you know, they had all these kind of training programs in place, but then they'd start them out and get them going, and then they just fall apart. They just fall backwards, and it's like, so everything they spent all that big money on came back, did absolutely nothing. And that's the problem that I struggle here at the district is we get going on something and then we just we don't kind of see it through all the way. We just kind of like turn, I mean, just.
That's a fair observation. And that's partly why I would prefer for me to be trained to train it rather than we send people to do it.
Yeah.
Because they do conferences where they will train all of our guys. And then it's like you
And
said,
just like
it gets pushed away.
Right.
But if I'm on site
Right.
and I do the training, we can do refreshers on it periodically. We can institute it in our goals. We can make it part of our culture.
And that's like when we had that talk the other day about equipment, you said, hey, I can, you know, because I'd prefer our own people train our people,
Yeah.
you know, on
I
equipment
agree.
because we know how we want them trained but we'd went out looking and couldn't find anybody to do any training
Well,
and
what was the one you pushed in front of us, it's been 6 months ago or a year ago?
The backhoe
You
training?
No, it was a training, maybe the one you went to.
I did the leadership, I took the leadership through the U of U
Okay.
for leadership training to see if that one would be beneficial to our managers.
There's one that you give us, and it was way bigger packet than what we need. So I like the idea that if we can take something and tailor it for what we're doing,
for what we want.
yes,
For our men.
then I'm good with that.
Okay.
One thing that we're currently doing to address some of your concerns is our operations managers are currently developing a 30, 60, 90-day expectations so that we can better prepare expectations for what we expect people to be trained on in a period of time.
Okay.
The more we do in-house, the better we are.
Good.
Any other questions on that portion?
Nope, I don't have anything.
So we've started the interview process for both positions, the service maintenance and the collections crew. We're gonna have people in-house next week to do some interviews with Raina.
How
and myself.
many do we have?
Right now, we're gonna have 4 people come in initially.
Okay.
I have a couple others that I'm still screening.
Okay, do we, have we, is it closed yet? I think,
It's closed in-house, but it.
no, but I mean outside, how about
No,
outside?
it's open until filled.
Okay,
And so if we're not satisfied
filled.
with,
till they get the right people
Oh,
they
till
want.
filled, okay.
if it's not filled with the candidates that we have coming in, we're not gonna just choose somebody to choose somebody. It's open until filled.
Okay,
We've started working towards getting a safety handbook so that there's clear expectations for our managers and our employees, so that our managers can better lead their employees. We're hoping to start working with people on that.
and get us a handbook too, will you?
Yeah, having a safety policy, I mean, that'll ultimately lead to a handbook, but we need, in order to hold
Get us a
people,
handbook so we can be better trustees.
in order to be able to hold people more accountable, we need more clear and consistent policies. And that's the first step, is this task force that we'll put together. We have some nice reference material that Andrew's been able to glean from other agencies that have already put that together as a reference.
Just have to tailor it to
Okay.
our district. We're working on jackets that we've talked about, recognition jackets. We have a bid, and we're ready to move forward on that. We have jackets for all of our employees, management team, and the council members.
Trustees, yeah.
Then the last thing for me is, we talked about last month moving from paper minutes to electronic, saving some money that way as far, and saving efficiency. What I'd suggest is that Lyle and I get a couple and we do a test pilot for the board to see how it'll work.
Just make sure it has big print.
Yeah,
We'll zoom it in for you.
big print, so we have to use these.
Yeah, you can blow it up as big as you want.
Yeah, you can have it as big as you want. You can get it to where you only see one letter. So,
It's labor, again, it's just so labor intensive to utilize staff to put these and punch and bind and put them. It would save a
Well, if
significant
you had
amount of time.
that bulletin like I told you right here, you
Yeah,
could just
and we
read
could
off
do
of
that as part of it. A bigger screen.
yeah, we can do bigger screens.
You just read right here off of it.
So it'll have hyperlinks that you just click on, go exactly where you want. But we'll do a test pilot for you before we.
One of the biggest things is you can refer back onto it without having to go dig through pages and like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So, on the jackets that you're talking about, God, I don't know. I just
We tried that, didn't we? Didn't we do Chad?
don't the guys get a jacket from us don't we,
There is a weather jacket, right?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so upon their initial hiring, they get one set of cold weather gear, a set of bibs, and one coat. So, and that's when they're first hired on, so that lasts as long as it lasts. We've
and
had
then
them,
they just trade it in though, right? If it wears out, they bring it back and then we give them a new set?
Yeah, I remember that,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
On this jacket they're getting, is it like an award you guys did, like you did good in wastewater or something, or just a jacket itself?
It's like any kind of a company apparel. There's a dual benefit, right, of having your employees have something nice that they can wear to work and has the logo on it.
Identified out in the system.
And then they're easily identifiable. And it's just a thank you, you know, that, hey, you're, you know, a valued employee, and we have, so whether it's a shirt or whether it's a hat or whether it's a jacket, we had heard from the board there was interest in getting some jackets. So this is an option if the board that wants to hold off or discuss a
Well, I'd
different
like to see
option.
what the
we can-
cost is.
Yeah, we certainly
You know,
can
just
bring that
what-
back. to
yeah,
the
I'd just like to
board.
see what the
We'll
cost
put it in the
is.
packet for the next meeting.
I mean, what do you think? You think we should have them come back with the cost? I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely, absolutely.
We can do that.
That's it for me.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Okay, moving on to, project award and agreement.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that. So this is, the basement finish. You remember, we, went down there, kind of planned out what our secure file storage, our regular storage, future office. So this kind of just shows what, at this point, we would be, creating. So the secure file storage, we'd have a locked door, secure door there. Regular storage would have shelving cabinets. We'd put a door in front of the safe area that would also close off mechanical, electrical. We'd finish up all of this space down there, as well as set up for additional office space.
What do we do for heat and cooling down there?
So it already has, return air, all the ductwork, lighting. As part of this, there is, some adjustment to that. All the finish work, paint, baseboard, carpet.
So where the safe's at down there, and I see that you have a door, of course, that door will come over into the electrical room or whatever, the mechanical room, and then you also have like where a furnace is. What kind of will that be like a metal frame door?
It's-
And the reason why I'm saying that is like, if someone breaks in, I mean.
It'll be a metal frame, wood door, similar, so when you go down the stairs and you enter into there and you have to do your badge, that door is like 5x3.
Okay.
Anyways, double door, but it has glass, so this one will be a solid, like oak door with a keypad lock, all of that, metal frame. I mean, it would take significant force. to
Okay, well, no,
actually get
I'm
through
just,
it.
like I said, yeah, okay.
Minimal access, we would move all of the storage and things that we have in the mechanical into the storage room. So the only real reason to get in there is if you need to get to the safe, or, there's maybe
Our IT.
a
or
IT or Liao, or if we needed maintenance in the mechanical.
But this would also give us a record of what badge accesses what,
Okay.
which we don't have currently.
Yep. So, this is a state contract, just kind of looking at the price and the square foot finish that we have. We're gonna finish about 1,200 square feet. It's hard to get an exact breakdown of like a commercial setting cost per square foot, but, a home, can be up in the 200s, but that includes framing, includes, a little bit more work. We do have sheetrock down there. We've got some of that. They're gonna be framing in these two rooms, doing complete, walls. So it ends up being about $65 a square foot. And that is, we feel is a good deal in line with, what the amount of work they're
So
gonna
have
do.
we, I guess they've came down, and so do we have any, like, safety, not safety, standards that we've got to meet? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, do we have to have some kind of an access window? I mean, cut in for, in case of a fire, or, I know we've got the staircase, okay,
It's that more the exits,
yeah,
and
okay,
that.
oh, yeah, we
So
do, we have
it's
two
set up.
entries down there, and we have the one here, and then the one, okay, so
Yeah,
we,
so the
okay, we meet
exit
that.
here to the stairs.
We had to
won't
build
be-
that whole room. That whole room's a fire room, right? Where we can convene.
Where the bed was.
Yeah.
Bed.
Yeah, no,
So the occupied space, maybe is the question, it's still, it's good for office occupied space.
Okay, cool.
yeah, if it was a bed, then it would have to have a different requirement.
Yeah. So, Feel confident and comfortable in, awarding this to Landmark.
So one question I have, so, the state, that's the 79,000, so with inflation and everything, I mean, I guess,
Do you wanna talk about how we separated it out to address that?
yeah, went through this stuff and seen how it's all been separate.
Yeah, and I mean, this is, the way they set this up is they go out, they get all their
Right.
numbers from their different subs, and this is the cost.
These
There's-
are negotiated numbers with the state,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In order to
So
meet
this,
anything
this
extra.
won't change for our improvements. Within the budget, we've looked at, okay, what do we need in the future? Next year, it's gonna be tables. and, Different chairs and.
Now,
Where is your, like, your little boardroom, or not like a little boardroom, like your little room where you sit with the contractors down and lay everything out?
So it would be, more,
Okay, there it is.
this is the potential,
Yeah, right at the
that we
bottom
could
of
get
the
to once we're ordering,
Okay.
furniture and things. Don't necessarily need these desks at the moment, maybe a plan table and a meeting table.
The only thing I say is just do it so for the future, don't do it, for now, do it so when we have more growth, you know what I'm saying? So we're saying, we should move that wall and,
Yeah, the finish work and everything will accommodate this, no problem. It's
Okay.
just what we purchase. If we wanna,
okay.
right
good.
now, this table's 4 to 6. It could be an 8-man table.
Okay.
That would accommodate that.
And then the carpet will be this carpet here for down, okay,
Yeah. So if you walk down the hall,
right,
that kind of finish, this finish is what they're matching.
okay, cool, great. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
You okay?
Yes.
So do we motion on this? Okay,
Yeah, Trevor's asking for approval.
okay,
Yep. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Landmark Company's contract for basement finish project in the amount of $79,946.48 from the state contract MA 3939.
A second that.
been motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Clint, I'm gonna turn Jay back over to you, administration,
okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Leal, do you wanna,
or Leal,
Yeah,
she put this item on here to make sure we got board discussion and input on
the gift cards, the gift
Yeah.
cards are the ones we've given every year, and I just wanted to get approval to do it again this year. That's what the $75 is. I don't know if you wanna change the amount. We had it at 50 for a while, and then I think last year was the first year we changed it to 75.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
So we just need a suggestion, change, and approval on that if you would like to do it. The second item is just a reminder, and the third item is just a reminder. They don't need motions, but
okay. So what do you guys wanna do on the employee gift card? Do you wanna keep it, or do you wanna raise it to $100? You tell me what you wanna do with inflation and all that,
was that historically based on was it for a dinner? Like,
well,
what was the-
historically, we were given like a ham or a turkey.
Okay,
And so the gift certificate replaced that.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know
That
what
was
the,
where it came from.
I don't know if anybody has a good price on, you could base it on the same philosophy like a Thanksgiving turkey, Christmas turkey. I don't know what those are going for.
Yeah, I don't think
or a
they're,
Christmas dinner.
Or a
yeah, I
Christmas-
don't
I was
think the
kinda
turkeys are
looking, if you took
$75.
somebody out to dinner or a family went out.
That's another way to look at it.
$100 is probably more than mine.
It does give you at least some more guidance on what to base it on,
Yeah.
but that historical
$100.
is helpful.
I think so too.
For Thanksgiving and Christmas.
You what?
You said for both, even though.
Well, no, we're giving them two. No, just kidding. Okay, let's motion, so what,
I like the idea, to me, it means more if there is some thought behind it, rather than if it's just a gift card. I like the idea if the board can communicate some intent that, hey, we'd like this to be about this. I don't know if the board likes that idea or not, but to me, that means.
$600 will get me into the Bears den.
Yeah.
It means that they know that you've thought about it.
Well, right, because like I said, things just keep going up and up and up, and it's like,
Oh, no, I would like to report, wood has came down.
Yeah.
okay.
Hey,
It did, I just bought a sheet for
it's a good.
$23.
Instead of
Well, we're-
48?
We're hearing
No, it's been
good
as high
news
as
from our,
64.
Wow.
we're hearing good news from the consultants on the construction market. We're hopeful that that will translate to some savings on our project.
Hopefully we can get the interest rate down.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the annual employee gift card for the employee recognition dinner for $100.
I'll second that.
it's been motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so on that next meeting is the 8th of December, and then,
Normal second Thursday. Does
yep,
that still
second
work for
Thursday,
everyone?
yep.
Yep.
Okay. And then reminder that the dinner's on the 9th.
Then, and it starts at, well, we got a bulletin on it, so.
Yeah, I can't remember the time.
So we have a good turnout, correct?
Yeah, we were up over 40 something.
Awesome, good.
I think that's a good, that's 2/3
Seemed
plus.
like a little more than last year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better, love that.
Okay.
So I guess I can talk about this right here, cause it's not on the agenda, but it's just same in line with this, like I said, next year, like if you guys, I'd prefer you guys have a committee.
Yes.
Committee, and if you guys decide you're tired of doing, where we're going for this time,
Where are we going for this?
Little America.
Okay.
You guys can come up with the committee and maybe, figure something out a little, set the budget, what the cost is, and then let's work within the cost, and maybe you guys might want to change and do something different. But I think it's very important that we keep our employees involved in this, because at the end of the day, it's their party.
You're absolutely right, and we kind of took advantage of the year before's planning and didn't do a full committee, and that's on me.
No, it's, it's not on nobody, it's
We'll
just,
make
we just
sure-
need to make sure,
And we got Andrew here to make sure I'm in line.
and he can share it.
All right.
How's that?
Are we voting on that right now?
But no, I just think it's important that we just keep our
We'll
employees.
set one up.
Let's make it their party,
I agree.
and we're invited.
So,
Okay, I have nothing else. Do you want to make a motion to close the open?
I'll make a motion to meet immediately in closed session to discuss the character, professional competence, physical and mental health of an individual pending or reasonable intimate litigation, and the purchase, exchange, lease of real property, including any form of water right or water shares pursuant to Utah Code 52-4-204 through 205.
Second that.
Then motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So, having no other action, we'd like to make a motion to close and reopen the public board meeting.
Second that.
Then motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're having our public hearing agenda.
No?
What?
So,
Oh, okay, I screwed up. Sorry.
so we're gonna, there's no action, so
Right, other business.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, hold on. Other business, just one second.
Okay?
So I'd mentioned to Clint, about putting up the glass, the bulletproof glass up to our, windows up here to the two, the service, our counter. Because at 5:30 at night, it is very pitch black out here. And we talked about it, and I know that was probably one of our last safety deals that we have to do, but I think it'd be very good that if we went ahead and we'd, discuss that, and I think it'd be a great idea for us to have him go ahead and go through through with it. And Clint,
Get some bids and.
right.
Okay, yeah. So if I understand correctly, we're talking about, it would look something similar to the temporary thing we've got, but it's more secure, it's bulletproof. It might, more go up all the way potentially to secure the whole thing, but then an opening at the bottom that people can pass their bills to. We might need a speaker if it's fully sealed. You know, there might need to be a speaker, but I think that generally has worked well functionally.
It's kind of like the one at our old building down on Magna
Yeah,
Main Street.
yeah.
And the thing is I just think with what we're dealing with in this world today, I just said, you come driving up here around 5:30 and it is black, and the lights, like I just got through saying, the lighting in this town's horrible, and they could come in, they could jump over that counter, they'd be down 9,200 and right out of 201 and no problem.
Yeah, they could easily knock that down towards the person if they were to come through, knock the temporary into the person
Yeah.
and knock them back and then be able to jump over. So yeah, that would be a great move, I think, a worthwhile.
You know, because all this is secure. This stuff's all locked here,
Yeah,
so
we're
they
now-
can't come through here and come through that door. It's all locked, and I think that'd be a very smart idea to have Clint get some bids, and then the next board meeting bring it back to us. And then I had one other thing that I think would be good is maybe can you get like a little remote where the girls sitting at the desk when we come in,
the building
they
down?
can just push the button and let us in, so they don't have to keep getting out of
Oh.
the chair.
Potentially, we could look into that. I know that we
Because-
do have the remote panic buttons.
Right, but I'm talking about,
talking
so
about-
to come in the door, we don't have to.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
could give the board
I know, but I don't
access.
want no access to anything.
All right.
I don't
You
want.
want to keep that by the.
I just want it, I don't want no codes to nothing, I don't want no access to anything.
Yeah, we can look into that and see what's available and report
And I just
back.
think that we could do that, and then they don't have to get up out of the chair
Yeah,
and stop what they're doing, they just push the button and let us in, or whoever else needs to come in.
yeah, we'll follow up on that.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a good idea that we have access to anything.
Okay.
That's all I have. Is that all right,
Yeah.
Nathan?
I mean, we're not acting on it.
No.
This will be something you'll bring back for the board to act on in the future meeting.
Right. Okay.
You guys okay with that?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Okay, does anybody else here have anything they would like to address while we're here? Okay, see none, let's motion.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Been motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I gotta get going.